Fun fact. Oh, wait, should I say this or is your mom going to get mad?
What?
Does your mom listen to the podcast?
Yeah.
About your key.
That I lost it?
Yeah. Can that be your fun fact? Or is
She already knows.
Oh, she knows?
Yeah.
How does she know?
I told her. And she goes, "You're a fucking idiot. I have an extra key. I guess I'll give you mine." I was like, Jesus.
So fun fact about Torri, she leaves her purse open. Like, there's a zipper to keep it nice and closed and contained, but it's just always open. And I think because of that, things just free flow in and out. Long story short, she lost her house key and her mail key, so it was a big ordeal. And that is Torri Webster for you.
I feel like it's reflective of my personality because I have an open heart.
Oh my God, don't try to make this anything other than she just loses things a lot. But it's okay, we love you regardless. Roll the intro. Welcome back to Poddy Talk,
The podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Tor.
And today,
This episode is brought to you by Roar.
there you
This
go.
episode is brought to you by Roar Organic Canada. Roar Organic is the next generation of premium electrolyte beverages for millennial hustlers like you. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder or looking to tear it down, hitting the gym or hitting the pavement, Roar Organic has the ingredients for success. It's got organic electrolytes for faster hydration.
Are you good?
Breath.
Do you need some Roar?
Antioxidants to protect against free radicals, and B vitamins to help you be a go-getter.
I drink these drinks all the time. I'm so obsessed with them. Sometimes I'll grab one after a workout to replenish my electrolytes or even just to go along with my lunch. Since they're so low in sugar with no preservatives or artificial flavors, it's the perfect alternative to water or other sugar-packed beverages.
Yes, and now since we want our Poddy Talk listeners to try this beverage out, we're hosting a giveaway over on our Instagram, and one lucky winner will receive a case of Roar. So to enter, head to Poddy Talk Podcast on Instagram and go to the most recent post or the post with the caption Episode 22 giveaway, and all the details on how to enter for a chance to win Roar will be on the post. Good luck to everyone.
Are we on episode 22 already?
Yeah, that's like a Taylor Swift. Hey, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
Okay, so I was saying you shouldn't hold these, but I have the one that's bad. Okay, do you see this like weird little black ring around this?
She's talking about how we read our ad reads, by the way, for anyone listening to the
for
pod.
everyone
We
on
hold
YouTube,
these papers.
you'll know we read our ads on the papers, on our little script. And before we started rolling, I go, oh, there actually is like almost some debris.
Ew, tell me what it is.
Okay, so yesterday, this literally happened yesterday. It was kind of a cooler day, but my house was getting really hot because the sun was beating in, and I was like, I don't need to like put on the AC. I'm just gonna open the door. But my condo is really weird, and like I don't have like a screen door on my doors, which never seems to be a problem. Like, I mean, I live higher up, so the bugs don't really get up there. So I just had my door wide open, and it was a beautiful breeze. It was cooling down my house, and then I'm literally sitting there with my headphones in, like editing a video, and then I hear like a little like buzzing, like it sounds really loud, and then there's like a bee on my like literal headphone. So I was like, oh my God. So I like swatted away, and so it's buzzing around my house now. So I'm like, oh crap.
No.
So I didn't really know what to do. I'm like, oh, is he like with like a family, like a colony of bees? Is he gonna attract other ones to get in? Like, should I close the door, catch him, and then release him, or try to lead him out through the open door? So I started like panicking because I didn't want to hurt it. I didn't want to like kill the bee. Like, bees are so integral to our environment, and like the bees are dying, and we need to save the bees. But I just wanted him out of my house.
Yeah.
And the poor guy, I have a lot of windows in my place, and he kept on trying to like hit the windows, but he was like spazzing out and like hurting himself. So I didn't know what to do to catch him. I didn't really have any like proper like things. So I was like, okay, what I need to do, I had this is the most Jaclyn story. I had an empty, like Lush pot, like one of those like big lotion pots.
Okay.
And I needed a piece of paper. So I was gonna like catch him on the wall in the pot and then slide a paper under and then release him into the wild. And I don't have any paper, like I don't have a printer anymore. Like we're all digital in 2019.
Yeah.
The only papers I could find on my desk were our ad reads. So you can literally see that's the ring of, because I was scared. So basically,
where the bee was captured.
Yes. It's like that's the literal like little jail I made him.
Oh my God.
So he's on the wall, and like this is after like 15 minutes of me just trying to like collect him to one area to get out the door.
Wow.
And I'm like sweating, and like I was supposed to be somewhere, but I need to get the bee out of my house because I would have panicked if like say I let him stay in the house and then I get back home that night and I go, I can't find the bee. Like that would kind of freak me out.
Oh.
Like I wouldn't want to wake up in the middle of the night and be like, the bee is here, you know?
Oh,
So I was like, I need to get him out of my house now or else I'm going to forget or can't find him later. So I'm literally like, if someone could see into my condo, just like this half naked human, like trying to catch a bee, being like a crazy person.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, so eventually I caught him, but it was on this, and you can see like the ring.
Wow.
But I caught him, put the ad read underneath, and released him. So I want to give a huge shout out to our friends over at Roar for helping me release the bee back into the wild.
I love that. That's amazing. Great
That's
way to
like,
kick
don't
off the
touch
episode.
This. It's got bee like
right before we started
germs on
rolling,
it.
she goes, I wouldn't touch that if I were you. I'm like, okay, sounds good.
Anyways, welcome back to another episode. We have no guest today, so it's just us, which could be good news or bad news, probably the latter. But I feel like we just need to catch up. I haven't like actually seen you as a human in so long, but we've done a lot of things since the last episode. We've gone to Booby Ball.
Yes.
We've gone apple picking.
Yes.
Lots of things.
All fun things. Booby Ball was on Friday. Booby Ball is in partnership with Rethink Breast Cancer, and they do this big sort of fundraising party just to raise money, essentially, for breast cancer. But also, it's kind of more focused on, like, the younger generation in the sense, like, how do we educate young women and even young men, like, to deal how to deal with breast cancer when it arises in your family. So I was actually on the committee this year, so it was fun to be a part of it, and it was actually a super fun night. I mean, maybe too wild to talk about on the pod even. It was like a little cray-cray, but fun.
Yeah, Torri, I don't think she'll like admit how dedicated she was to this, but she literally was like on the committee and helped plan it all, helped organize, you honestly volunteered so much of your time for such a good cause. So I'm proud of you.
It was fun.
You did a really awesome thing.
And then the next day, collectively as a friend group, we all woke up so hungover, and I was like, oh my God, we've got to go to the apple orchard.
It's fall time. We had to go pick the apples.
Well, you know what it was? I was sitting on my couch, and I just feel like the weather was so nice that day. Like, it was sunny and crisp, and just, I was like, I can't possibly sit on my couch.
And I had never been to Chudley's before, which is this awesome farm that Torri introduced me to.
This is the place.
It was magical.
Yeah, it's in Milton, Ontario, so for any local Canadian humans that want to go. So good. I think the biggest thing that makes Chudley's better than other orchards I've been to is that you can actually do more than just pick an apple. You know what I mean?
Very much so. This is what I was saying. So I grew up like out in the country, and when we would go apple picking, you legit would go to like someone's personal farm in like a muddy path, and like it was still fun, but you'd like want to wear like bad clothes in case you got dirty, and it was less experiential.
Yes.
Whereas this place like fully has like a barn, a petting zoo, and like corn mazes, and like all of these fun, amazing like fall-themed things that you want to do.
So cute.
Yeah.
Love it. Highly recommend for friend groups and families alike.
Yeah, and we did some baking that night. We made an apple crumble. Did you end up trying that pie?
Tony wrote, or my friend Tony, your friend as well, but now it's public. Tony, our friend, she took the whole pie.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, because Adam, my boyfriend, now I'm just saying names that are irrelevant to other people, but anyways, my boyfriend took some of the crumble, but then she was like, oh, I think he took a piece of the pie, and then he said, oh, I won't eat the rest, you just take the pie back to her boyfriend, so it was a communal pie.
So we don't know if the pie was good.
We don't know if the pie
I was nervous about the pie, because it was like a weird crust.
Oh, because it was gluten-free.
It was gluten-free. It looked kind of crumbly.
I'm not a gluten-free type of gal.
I know, I'm a full gluten.
Yeah, give me the
enthusiast.
gluttony.
The gluttony.
Yeah.
Yo, that apple crisp, though.
Yeah.
In another life, I want to be a chef.
I know. You guys were hilarious that night. They were going on about Gordon Ramsay. Yeah. It was just this insane sort of banter.
I don't know if you guys ever watch, well, obviously Hell's Kitchen, but Gordon has a plethora of different TV shows. There's like the Hotel Nightmares, Kitchen Nightmares. And the Kitchen Nightmares, I was showing Torri for the first time because she'd never seen it. That show just kills me because one, so basically the premise is that Gordon goes to a business, whether it be a restaurant or a hotel chain, that kind of needs some help and is on the verge of either like bankruptcy or like failing or whatever, and he tries to go in and save it and tell them what they're doing wrong and how to improve and evaluate them. And obviously, though, in Gordon Ramsay style, he's swearing at them and just like critiquing them in the most hilarious way, which I don't really know if it would fly in 2019. Some of these old clips, I was like, how can you get away with saying that to someone? But I guess it's for TV. So
it's even funny how, like, to that point, how our movies and how our television shows have adjusted since, you know, we're more sensitive in so many different ways now. Like, sometimes I'll even watch old Gossip Girl episodes, not to bring up Gossip Girl again.
Gossip Girl and Greek yogurt.
Even Sex in the City, though, like, we talk about these sort of, like, influential pop culture shows, and there's moments where you kind of go, and you get a bit uncomfortable when you watch those old episodes that were made in either the 90s or early 2000s.
Well, I was going to say, there was this whole article I was reading about Friends, the TV show, and just, I think it was like the top 20 most like insensitive or moments that wouldn't fly in modern day. And it's so true. You watch back these shows, you're like, that's crazy that they like could say that and that was not a problem.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, in some ways, I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. In some ways, I think it's great to have like more awareness and for people to be more in tune with what is, I guess, okay to say and what is insensitive. But then I guess there's that fine line of, oh, everyone's making everything too like PC and too whatever.
Right.
So I don't really know where the line is of how, I don't know.
Well, because
I think education and being aware is important.
And
especially when it affects like oppressed groups of people, but
of course, but the fun of dramatic television or the fun of even comedy is that people do push the limits.
Yeah.
We talk about like a Shonda Rhimes where like in every show someone randomly dies or someone goes on some like crazy bender, and I feel like if you're too sensitive with your work, I agree, you kind of lose that magic, because that's really at the end of the day what is entertaining people.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it definitely is a double-edged sword.
This has always been my thing too, especially with any like creative works like in the arts. It's like, does your art, is it necessarily reflective of your beliefs? I don't know if I'm necessarily wording this right, but I guess like, say for example, if someone is putting out a song that's very intense, maybe it's touching very sensitive subjects or is like a little more, I don't want to even say vulgar, but like a little more interesting, and it's not necessarily like, would you then associate that song to the person singing it, like that is their beliefs, or is that just like a story they're telling? Like,
yeah,
where
I think that's interesting. I mean, Jack and I were asked to do this like interview this week, and one of the questions was like, do you think your work reflects your values and beliefs? And I mean, a lot of our work is digital and online, and so I would argue, yes, a lot of it is like our own brand and personalities, and we like
an extension of ourselves.
And we attach ourselves with brands and beliefs we believe in. However, I also wrote back in that note saying that's also just a picture. That's also not a picture. It's just a frame of someone's beliefs. It's not saying, oh, I know Torri Webster, I know exactly what she does in terms of values, beliefs, opinions, whatever. It's just you have a certain perception of me, and that's something, but that's not all of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how we have to approach like art as well. It's like, yeah, well, a director could do, you know, a film like The Joker, which is getting a lot of criticism right now about like violence and all of these things, but I'm very much like an arts for art's sake type of believer, but I'm also an artistic person, so I feel like maybe I have a lot more compassion to, you know, art for art's sake, which is like literally, you know, let it be what it is and stop judging it beyond that. Because I feel like, you know, when we take it into, you know, society and say, okay, yeah, if we study the Joker in comparison to how we are in society today and all this violence, et cetera, yeah, I get that. It doesn't look great. Like, I understand that comparison and that perception is not amazing.
Yeah.
However, this is a film, and Adam and I actually just rewatched The Dark Knight because of all the backlash. I was like, you know what? I haven't seen it since I was like honestly a kid. I barely remembered Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Yeah.
And when I saw the new one with Joaquin Phoenix, I thought it was dark. But then I watched the old one and I was like, oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
No, the old one is literally insane.
In comparison.
It didn't even compare. And it's not to say the acting was better or worse. They're both insanely talented actors. It's just the new one is so like emotional, kind of like plays on your ethos and is very like, you know, almost twisted.
Yeah.
Whereas the old one is just straight up scary. You're like, Heath Ledger is coming to kill me, and like this is, and there's no, you know, there's nowhere to go.
Well, yeah, that's my whole thing. It's like, I don't really believe that censorship of any topic should be a thing.
Yeah.
Or like not being able to explore certain issues. Like I remember even back to when 13 Reasons Why first came out.
Yeah, how did you feel about all that?
So my whole thing is, I think I think you should always listen to people.
Because they removed that scene of her
yes,
dying.
that's what I'm saying. There was a lot of like whether it be therapists or doctors who had a lot of medical advice saying, hey, we don't think you should feature a scene of your main actor committing suicide on camera and it was a very like graphic scene. There's been like proven studies that it's my hair hitting this mic. Guys, we have new mics today. We're really excited about it. There's literally like proven fact that can negatively impact someone who is maybe having suicidal
It could
tendencies.
be a trigger, for sure.
Exactly. So they had advised all of the producers and the showrunners, whatever, to not include that scene. The show originally had it upon release, which that had a lot of criticism, but I found overall, so in that point, yes, I think it's important to listen to people, and if that's what a lot of medical professionals are saying, I think there's value in that, especially if you know you are talking to a young, susceptible audience. I agree. It's important to maybe take consideration of that. But what I don't agree with is a lot of people saying that the whole topic in general shouldn't have been talked about, because I feel like not having any communication, whether it be a more sensitive topic, is just irresponsible. I think communication and being honest about a lot of topics, whether they're sensitive or heavy hitting, or you think maybe you're too mature for a certain age group, I do think it's important to actually have those conversations. And I don't think that should be censored out of people's lives. I think it's important to include.
Well, we have to consider also that if they had never included that scene, would the conversation have gone as far as it did? Probably not. And that's why I agree with you, because what you're saying is if you're including those topics, they end up becoming a part of the conversation. And if they had not included that, I think they
could have maybe not included that scene, but still the whole storyline was
maybe. But I will say, even for myself, like yes, it was very visual, and I still remember it. It was obviously kind of like hard to watch, but I will say it opened my eyes as someone who has never really dealt with that, like mental health sort of like that has never been a barrier for me. It opened my eyes to like what someone could be feeling, and I feel like, even just for that compassion piece, to have someone who maybe doesn't understand what that feels like to be able to see and experience that, it's so valuable, because it means that now I sit here and I say, oh my God, like I would reach out to anyone who needed help, or I want to make sure that it makes you have that extra edge, because you're like, oh my God, maybe that person's not okay. And I feel like for so many years before mental health became a huge conversation, you know, people were just suffering in silence and no one was saying anything. And
well, that's what I'm saying.
What's better?
Look at the landscape, even the change from, I'd say, like 10 years ago to current day. Like, I can say, yo, I'm having a really rough day. Like, I need like a me day.
And nobody judges you for that. You could do that in stories live.
I'm feeling really anxious. And
like,
yeah, I totally get it. Like, take your space. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, like, that's not really something that was as open, or that you be that transparent about with people in your lives. So
because I think it was coming across more like a weakness at the time, but now it's like, okay, as humans, we all struggle with different.
Totally, like the whole idea of invisible illness. It's like, well, you can't see that I have a broken arm, or the idea of like, okay, if it's physical injury, yes, you see they have a broken arm, ow, they're hurting, we need to like whatever help them out. Whereas someone's like, oh, my brain is literally fucked up, and like my literal like levels are not in balance. That was less valid, I think, like back in the day. Whereas now, I mean, I've grown up in the generation where that is equally, if not more valued than, oh, you have a bruise, you have a cut, or whatever.
No, I agree. And like I think it'll probably change even more with our kids. Like, I think that'll continue to be the direction of where it goes. It's much more about, you know, how do you sustain yourself mentally, as opposed to, I mean, the physical aspect is obviously still very important, but it's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I think, like, if you just look at that mental health like conversation and how that has progressed so quickly because of people being open and honest and talking about it more,
and shows like that, and letting the pop culture influence the art, and letting the art influence pop culture. That should always happen. But again, it's hard to ask people like us, because we love the industry, we love what it does for people, we love the entertainment, we love the storytelling, we love the connection. But I feel like we're at the forefront of that, and not everyone feels that way. Like, there's definitely
I also just think it's like, you always have to understand that, like, consumers have the choice. Like, there's a lot of criticism that I read about that show in specific, like 13 Reasons Why. And every time a new season comes out, it cuts, you know, brought up again. And a lot of people were saying, well, some people shouldn't watch it if they're very susceptible or trigger, or it's very triggering. It's like, okay, well, one, they put trigger warnings before each episode. And two, if you know that you're susceptible, you need to not be consuming that content. Or if you're a kid, your parents need to be stepping in and saying, hey, you are not allowed to watch this. Like,
it's so hard.
There needs to be...
I mean, I guess I sort of agree with you. Like, I think I probably watched things too young, or was exposed to things before I maybe should have been. And I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is there, because I also believe, like, parents censoring kids to such a crazy extent also I don't think is super helpful.
No, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying if someone is literally dealing with suicidal thoughts and that show is triggering to them, I think the parents need to step in, and that's when they need to be like, hey, you know what, Molly, like, this is a show we're not going to watch right now because you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Like,
well, sometimes it's hard too, because I think it can,
That's just protecting your child. I think that's just.
Oh no,
like,
100%.
And those are the outliers of the case.
I mean
that's
more
not,
like the teenage years. Like from my perspective, I'm thinking of like the person that like maybe deals with anxiety or something and is watching that show and is maybe getting triggered, but then at the same time is finding like a sense of like relatability. It's like
no, then that's a positive thing. Then
no,
do
but
it.
maybe not is what I'm saying. Like I'm like they are triggering themselves, but it's almost like you're putting yourself there because you're already in that bad place.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying sometimes the circumstances.
But this is the thing though, is it any different from when I, say I'm feeling super down and I want to listen to really sad and depressing music?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It is.
Sometimes it's like almost like.
No, I know. So what I'm saying is we don't always help ourselves.
Totally.
Yeah.
Sometimes you actually need that. You're like, I need to just get a good cry out
sometimes you just
self-sabotage.
have to watch This Is Us and cry for 10 years. Yeah, and I agree. Like, and the self-sabotage is definitely a part of it. But
this is actually a whole conversation I was talking about with my brother because I was having this conversation with him actually about censorship, especially in relation to comedy, which I know we've kind of talked about a little bit before. But that whole idea of either everything has to be okay or nothing is okay.
Yeah.
And I used to kind of be more on the side of like, well, some things are okay, well, this isn't okay. And it's like you can't like cherry pick like that.
Yeah.
It either all has to be okay or it's not all okay. And now, especially like when talking to my brother more, when he's way more on the side of everything needs to be okay, he's like, you can still be a dick. There, of course, everything's okay. You can say whatever you want. You can say certain things which are insensitive, racist, which you're just a bad person. But you have the choice to say that. So that's a whole interesting like topic too. That's really changed my mind on censorship. And I don't even know. I don't know what the right answer is with all that stuff.
No, I don't know
with
either.
Art, with comedy, I don't know. But I guess the beauty of today's age is that we have access to so many different types of those outlets, whether it be a variety of comedians, whether it be a variety of musicians or whatever, that you get to subscribe to and follow and really just curate what you're consuming with the people that you like and that you are aligned with.
100%.
But
I also had a dream last night that I was with J-Lo. On a total separate note. It just like came to my head. When dreams like randomly resurface? I was like, yes, J-Lo. I was with J-Lo last night.
Wait, that's so funny. What happened? I love talking about dreams.
We were like, I guess performing together, but then we got a couple photos and stuff, but then I went back to her dressing room and I asked her for a selfie. And she said, no, I'm getting ready for bed. And she climbs like into bed, like in my dream, like went to sleep. And then I was like, no, but Kim Kardashian, like we have to do like the pouty face that you do with Kim. And she's like, oh okay.
God.
So she like came and did a selfie with me. I don't know.
What
a weird dream.
Were you like watching any J-Lo content?
No, I've only been watching Grey's Anatomy. I know this came up in the last episode, but I'm like, I started from scratch and I'm on season 3. It's a great show, but I've
never seen it. I don't watch any TV. I'm the worst person.
It's like, it's funny because one of our friends has a lot of like health anxiety, and I was telling her that I was watching Grey's Anatomy, and I think it was when we were watching Gordon Ramsay, and she's like, this is just triggering my illness. Like, this is like the worst thing ever.
Oh yeah.
She's like, I would never be able to watch Grey's Anatomy because it's all about like these random like health concerns that happen to people and whatever. But I actually just find it fascinating. Like, I don't think, I'm gonna go to bed and like wake up with that illness.
Yeah.
So I've loved the show. I think it's really good. And Patrick Dempsey is hot as
is that McSteamy or McDreamy?
He's McDreamy.
Who's McSteamy?
He's the
Are they
other
in the
guy.
same show?
No, he's the guy. Yeah, the guy that cheats on his wife with him.
Never seen that. Yeah. I'm the worst with TV.
How do you know both though? That's funny.
Because I just feel like everyone says that. Oh, are you McSteamy or McDreamy?
Oh,
like,
I'm totally McDreamy. Patrick Dempsey forever.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
So how was Lennon Stella? You got to interview her this week?
That's what I was going to say, actually, because we were talking about dreams. So I was out at a concert last night. I went to the Lennon Stella 5 Sauce Chainsmokers concert, and I brought my mom, because my mom is like,
amazing.
Actually, I got her into Lennon's music. And I've seen Lennon so many times and interviewed her and done so many things with her, which have been so fun, because I'm such a huge fan as well. But all the times these shows would happen, it didn't line up that my mom could ever come, because I'm like, Mom, you need to see her perform live. She's incredible. So anyways, last night it worked out perfect. Amazing. That we were so graciously offered tickets, and I got to bring my mom, and she was like obsessed and just in love. But when we were there, so we were talking about dreams, and my mom's gonna die that I'm telling this story on the podcast. It's completely random, but your J-Lo dream reminded me of it.
Yeah.
So she's like, Jaclyn, you're not gonna believe I had the weirdest dream last night. Like, it makes no sense. So she was like, we were in this like very modern like mansion, like in the hills. Like, I don't know if we were in LA or like what the vibe was, but it was very clearly like my mom and my house that we had just moved into together.
Okay.
And we were having a housewarming party. And she's
just like, you and your mom? Where's
Danny? No, Danny was not involved. Dan was not even there. It's just me and my mom's new house.
Okay.
And she's like, I had this amazing like infinity pool that started inside and went outside. Like it was this fully like, I was like, is this a manifestation of my future? Because I'm down.
Cool.
Anyways, and she goes, and then we had like a bunch of like dinner guests kind of coming over for this like dinner housewarming party, and the first one that walked in was Bella Hadid. And the fact that my mom is dreaming about this is actually just so funny. So I guess Bella walks in, but everyone was like kind of in like a costume, or it was like more of like a masquerade,
A costume
like
party?
kind of. She
Okay.
goes, so like Bella was kind of concealed, but my mom, she's like, in my dream I could clearly see like her nose, her eyes. It was very much so Bella Hadid.
Right.
And I go, oh, it's oh my God, why am I Janet Jackson? And my mom's like, it's not Janet Jackson. Like, that's Bella Hadid. And my mom's like, do you even know who Janet Jackson is? Like, that's not Janet Jackson. It's like, Mom, that's Janet Jackson. And we started, like, getting in a fight over it. And my mom was like, dude, that's Bella Hadid. Like, this is our dinner guest. Like, whatever. Like,
Oh, this is in the dream. So you lost me. I thought you were fighting in person about how you thought she was dreaming of Janet Jackson.
can you imagine? I'm like, no, Mom, you were dreaming about
Yeah, I was like, how would you know, Jaclyn?
in the dream, I'm fighting with my mom in the dream, saying that Bella did not arrive, that's Janet Jackson. And then I guess like
Your mom would say, do you even know who
yeah,
Janet
do you even know who
Jackson
Janet Jackson is? And then I guess like Gigi's like walking in with her. She's like, yo, that's Gigi with her. Like, of course, it's not Janet and Gigi, it's Gigi and Bella. So I guess we're having this whole fight, and like at this point, it's starting to fill in. Like J-Lo was there, Mom's like Kendall's there, and we're all just like walking through. Like, and she's like, it's normal in my dream. She goes, and then I like had to go downstairs to the basement to like get more chairs because we were like we had too many guests. And she goes, and I go down to my basement, and John Travolta is there like crying.
I was gonna say, is Michael Jackson? That's so funny that you said John Travolta.
And he's like crying in the basement, and just like my mom's like, John, like it's okay, what's up? He's like, I'm just like feeling down, and like it was this whole crazy in-depth dream, and I was like, Mom, why were you dreaming? Like,
yeah, that's so crazy.
Bizarre.
Yeah,
dreams are just so fast. I love when people like are like, oh my God, you're not gonna believe what I dreamed about. Like, I just think it's so interesting what you can create. But actually, I read a fact. I don't know if this is true or not. But any face you see in your dream, even if it's a face you don't recognize or like a stranger, it's actually a face that you've seen before in real life. Apparently, the human brain doesn't have the capacity to conceptualize a new face.
Yeah.
It has to have seen it before.
I could see that.
But do you think that's true? Like, is my brain really registering these like strangers' full features?
It's probably not strangers. It's rare that I have a dream that has like
a
people
face
that
you
I
don't
don't know.
I can't even like really
like now when I think about my dreams, I feel like there's only ever like 2 or 3 people around.
Yeah.
And it's all people I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like dreams
so
are
weird.
so strange.
And it's so weird too, like, you know, as a kid, I would always like try to like think of something before bed, thinking that my dream would be that, and it never would be. But even the idea of like when you wake up halfway through a dream, you're like, oh, that was a great dream. I want to see how it finishes out.
And you can't
but then it never works. Like once you're aware of it.
It sucks.
There
Although
must be.
subconsciously that would happen with my dreams. Like if I was like, yeah, I wouldn't, if I had a crush and I was like, a dream about him tonight, like that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But if like that day I had like spent time, let's say at, I don't know, a Longo's or a Value Mart, like in a grocery store.
Sure,
subconsciously, sometimes my surroundings will end up being like what my day had like been a part of.
No, that's so true. Like sometimes if I watch a movie or whatever, like that'll seep in, but
yeah,
it's
so
so
weird.
Interesting. I feel like I must dream every night. I just don't think I remember. Like when I wake up, it's so quick to leave
you only remember REM when you're in REM, which is like the
deep
like,
sleep.
No, it's like when you're coming out of sleep before you wake up. So the longest amount of time that you're in REM is usually when you remember your dreams.
Oh yeah, I heard that before. That like, oh, you actually only dream like 2 seconds before you wake up. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense because if you're startled out of your sleep.
If you're not remembering your dreams, you're usually having a deeper sleep because a REM is when you're like you're almost like coming out of subconsciousness, which is why you're which is why you remember it.
Oh, so if I'm having good sleeps,
if you're in a deep sleep, you will not dream. You only dream in REM, but you should be like having a long REM is very important. Like REM sleep is like super important. It's like when it's when our skin like gets rejuvenated. Yeah, like it's really good.
Can I promote more REM in my life, or does it just
also comment below if I'm wrong? I'm pretty sure this is correct though.
Comment down below if you know things about the brain.
Yeah, I watched Grey's Anatomy 5 times.
Actually,
and I'm like, I'm a brain surgeon.
You're like, I'm a neuroscientist now.
Yeah,
that
crazy.
Would be a wild job. So what are you inspired by the show? Like, do you want to be a surgeon now? Are you going to be a nurse? Do you have a new career path we should know about?
No, it's more just I really love Shonda Rhimes' work. Like I think
Shonda Rhimes?
She created How to Get Away with Murder. She created Scandal. She's just very.
Wait, is she an actor as well?
No, she's a showrunner, creator, producer,
writer.
That's
why I know the name.
It's her. Yeah.
Would I know her face?
I don't know. It just
Do you know her face?
Of course.
Oh.
You should know her face. She's very
I'm so
influential
bad.
in
I'm
the
so bad.
television world.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, no, I love good television, so that's more what I'm excited about. And I get excited about like finding a new show because I feel like I'm very much into like rewatching TV. So when I fall into a new habit,
That's my thing. So ever since I was a kid, if I ever found a TV show or a movie that I liked, I would only ever rewatch it because I knew exactly like
How it
what
would
the
end.
mood was and like
Yeah.
what I would feel after it. So as a child, my movie of choice was Cat in the Hat.
Interesting.
The one like with Michael.
I never saw Cat in the
What's his
Hat, so I
last
can't
name?
tell you that.
Wait, who's the guy from like Austin Powers?
What? I never saw.
You've never seen Austin Powers?
No, or Cat in the Hat.
Wait, how have you not seen Austin Powers? I feel like that was integral to my upbringing.
Oh no! All I know is the like pinky thing. What does he
Wait,
do?
you would love it. Dr. Evil and the
Dr.
Mini-Me.
Evil. Am I Mini-Me or are you Dr.
You'd
Evil?
be Mini-Me for sure.
I love it.
Yo, we have to watch it one night. You would like
Okay.
hate it so much, but you would love it.
Okay.
Oh
Cool.
my God, that's so funny.
I don't know his name.
What's his name? The Canadian actor, Michael.
Keaton?
No, is it Michael Myers? That can't be right.
Oh, Mike Myers.
Mike
yeah.
Myers.
Yeah,
Isn't
it
that
is Mike Myers.
Wait, what's the name of the guy from the Halloween show that's the killer? Yeah. No, I swear there's a Halloween movie that I used to watch. Like, you know when you're in high school and like you want to be cool and watch Halloween movies, but it would really actually freak me out.
Halloween Town?
No, it's like the Halloween, like, I think it's literally called like Halloween 1, like Halloween 2, Halloween 3.
Oh, yeah.
And Michael Myers is like the killer in it.
Okay.
So I always used to think
You've
that would
lost
suck
me.
being Mike Myers, the actor, because people must think he's Michael Myers, the killer.
Oh, jeez.
You
Okay.
know?
I don't know what
Long
you're talking
story
about.
short,
but
Cat in the Hat was my like go-to movie as a child.
Mine
What
was
yours?
She's the Man, obviously.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
knows that's my favorite movie of all time.
Isn't it Tori Amanda Bynes?
Guys,
Like she really is.
It's my biggest regret that Amanda
being her?
Bynes, no, is not Amanda Bynes anymore. Not my regret. It should be her regret. It's my biggest
No,
disappointment.
it's definitely sad when you see people like kind of lose the
I also
plot,
just like
but-
she was so talented. Like every movie she did, I thought was so good. She was
Mm-hmm.
so comedic and real, and I just loved her. What's been
It
one
was great.
actor that like lost the plot that you got sad about?
I don't know. I always like love to follow people's like careers, and it is really sad when you hear like 10 years later. Like I was even reading this article about. Do you remember JoJo?
Yes.
Like a little too late. It's a little too late or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was even making. There's this whole article about how when she was like whatever 13, 14. I don't know the story completely like quote by quote. So don't you know.
Come for
yeah,
me?
don't come for me if I'm saying this wrong. Long story short, but how as a child she was, whether it's manipulated or somehow like there was a power struggle between like her and her producer when she was making her music, and she was under it. She was like 13, 14, and like a lot of bad things going on. And you don't hear about it until she's like, I only feel confident to speak about it now.
That's
which
horrible.
is like 15 years later, 20 years later, as a grown adult. But it's so sad because you're like all these people that I used to look up to as a kid. It's like
Were
they
going
were
through, like,
actually
horrible
going through
things,
the exactly because of inherently how the industry was at the time.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have been.
Even like a
And these-
Lucy Hale, like she always talks really outwardly about all her eating disorders when she was in the industry as a kid.
Oh, really?
And yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like for many years she's talked about it now as an adult, but like at the time she's like, yeah, I was losing so much weight and I was so skinny, and I mean
so crazy.
Hillary Duff, like she
Yeah.
went through her, like it's kind of just wild what the industry can do to people.
No, it's so sad. And that's the thing. It's like, I think, I don't even know. Is it like you just need a really strong support system around you? Like, especially when you're under the age.
Yeah,
Like, you need
so
parental
much
watch
support.
24/7.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
and it's hard though because you're as a kid when you're 13, if you're the lead of a Disney show and like
Yeah.
you're doing all these things, you're a Miley or whatever, and it's like
You're just growing up so
people
fast.
exactly people are treating you like adult. You're expected to be like an adult. You have a full-time job. You have like very high standards and
Expectations,
exactly.
yeah.
But it's like so it's easy I think for people to forget that that is still a child.
I
Like
agree.
a baby child.
I agree.
But
It's
no,
really
it's so sad when you hear how it's like mess with people and.
I know.
But no, I can't really like think of someone like specifically that I'm like, oh, it's like anyone, even if I'm not a fan of like even you read like Justin Bieber, his whole like remember that whole Instagram post he
Kate,
did?
have you been seeing his skin lately?
No.
Kate, it's wild. Like
What do you mean?
He just has literally I've never seen crazier acne.
Aw.
He has horrible acne right now, and it's weird because
Wait, that's so
Adam is
sad.
actually and Adam is actually the one that showed me because I guess he's been like face tuning his face like on his post, but like one of his friends had like posted a photo with Justin, but like didn't face. First of all, if you're
Yeah.
a friend post the Facetuned one. Come
Yeah,
on.
we've had this conversation.
Don't do me dirty like that.
Yeah.
But this friend, I guess, it was just like them skateboarding,
Sure.
like probably thinking nothing
Yeah.
of it, posted them at the skateboard park with like full reveal acne, and then Justin posted the same photo but like Facetuned it with like no acne. And Adam is actually the one, he's like, yo, I was scrolling and I saw Justin's and then I saw the other guys and I was like, wait, something is different. And then he like looked and he's like, oh my God, he's like editing his images. And then
I get that. Like, I mean,
I totally get it.
It's so sad. Like, I see anyone with acne, and I'm like, dude, that was me.
No,
I was there,
I
and like,
get
I can
it.
relate.
And
so
also, it's
hardcore.
how could you not feel insecure? It's the first thing people notice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I totally respect that.
I used to be so insecure because, like, my skin always, since I was like whatever in puberty, was always my one thing that I was like, I hate my skin. Like, that was my biggest insecurity always. And I always used to say, like, yeah, you can put makeup on, but makeup doesn't fix texture. If you've got bumps, like, and it almost like in my brain, it made the acne more obvious. So I'd rather just like have no makeup on.
Right.
But especially when I was like 16, 17, deciding to go to makeup school, I was like, people are gonna think I'm gross. They're not gonna want me touching their face because if I look dirty, like, I always in my head associated, like, I'm like, people must think I'm like dirty because I have acne, which is obviously so not the case. Like, there's a few different reasons why you could have acne, but it's so
Did you
damaging.
ever find out why you had acne? Was it hereditary? Because obviously a lot of acne is hereditary.
Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, I think I really, the universe just really wanted to go you.
Really?
Because
so
my parents always had like no acne growing up.
Okay.
And I mean, my dad, I would always joke and say, oh my God, my dad gave me all of my worst qualities. He gave me my big nose. He gave me like really oily skin and like all of these things. And so he's always had like oily skin, but he's never had acne or anything.
Well, it's funny because my mom has always had like porcelain skin. I very much, not saying I have porcelain skin, but I definitely.
I very much so take that quality.
No, but I definitely
Yeah.
have more my mom's texture of skin. But my brother and sister both have more my dad's skin. And he did have like teenage acne growing up, and they both have struggled with acne. So I just think like it is very much like your skin makeup and how it behaves and performs.
I also am always so curious, especially like in modern day when you hear so many things about like so many external factors which obviously affect your skin, whether it be like environment, lifestyle, like even the types of foods that we eat.
Of course.
Like the preservatives and all those additives that are now in artificial like prepackaged foods didn't say exist 60 years ago or whatever. Like,
right.
So it's always so interesting, like how much does that play into it versus, like nature versus nurture? Like I'm sure there's got to be some smog in the air that's not doing good things to people's skin.
No, I don't think it helps at all. But I do think everyone has like a bit, like they start somewhere. You know what I mean? Like you either like have normal skin or dry skin, and then of course the environment and what you're putting on it and what you're eating is going to affect it. But
That's
like
so true.
we always have to go back to like the natural like biome, like what are we made up of, and like I feel like that still plays into it.
Yeah, that is one phase of my life that I do try to black out. Honestly, like it's so funny because now that I'm so like fortunate that my skin is clear after rounds of Accutane, so many dermatologist visits, so many different treatments, like don't be fooled. It has been a journey to get to clear skin.
Yeah, you haven't ever really talked about your experience with Accutane. Maybe some of our listeners
just a fake fan. I've done multiple videos on it on my YouTube channel, but no, I've done full like in-depth videos. Like I went on Accutane probably like I started it, must have been like 3 years ago now.
Yeah. And you did 2 full rounds, right?
2 and like a half. Like one was like a mini round afterwards. But I did document it a lot on my YouTube channel and talked about it. But it's also so interesting, especially when talking about acne, because back even when when my acne was at my worst, it's also relative because I was always very fortunate. I was aware I had acne, but it wasn't intense, all over the face, cystic. Like sometimes you see some people and they truly have obviously like much worse acne than I did at the time. But my whole thing is I had like mild persistent acne. So it was mainly just like in my T-zone. It was just like bumps that would not go away.
Always there. Yeah.
Just always there. I didn't know what and then I'd have a few like, cystic, like hormonal breakouts.
Painful ones.
The ones that are from under the skin.
The blemishes, those are the worst.
Totally. But it wasn't like that all over, where some people have those big painful cystic acne like all over, and I was really lucky that wasn't the case for me. Mine was definitely a much less extreme case. But it's funny because the reaction I got online when I talked about it, half the people were like, thank you so much for talking about it. I've been so scared to go on Accutane. And that was my whole intention, because for a long time I was very like, I wasn't anti-medicine, but I was like, I don't want to put this intense medication into my system daily when there's been some documented cases of like extreme whatever side effects. So I was very, and a lot of people had scared me out of it.
Yeah.
But the one thing I've always said, and every other person that I've talked to that have been on Accutane, they always go, I wish I didn't get scared out of it for so long because I wish I went on it sooner.
Yeah,
and that was me. I wish I went on it like years
yeah,
before.
because the
Because
reality
you want it to
is,
be last case scenario.
yes, you want it to be last case scenario, and yes, you don't want to be putting something that strong in your body every day. But we also have to consider at that point quality of life, and like
it's a medical condition.
Yeah,
Acne is a medical condition.
And if you're going through your life every day saying, I don't want to show my face in public, I'm pretty
Totally.
sure if
Taking a little pill,
if it itched 2 days off your lifetime, fine. At least you lived a happy damn life. You know what I mean?
No,
like, it's like
totally.
you can't think about it like
and that was my thing. But it was so funny because talking about it, so I wanted to make a video to talk about it, to be like, yo, of course, be aware that there's side effects. You have to go to see your doctor. But also, I had such a positive experience,
Right.
and this is what happened, and it literally changed my
Changed
life.
your life, yeah.
But anyway, so half the comments were like, thank you for bringing awareness. I just went on it. I just started. I'm so excited. And then half the comments were, your acne wasn't even that bad. Like, stop crying, stop whatever, and like dismissing it, which
that's not fair.
is so annoying.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's not fair.
Yeah, it's not a competition of who has it worse or like, it's like something
It's
can be bad. It can't
circumstantial.
be the worst, but it's
just
so
a
relative.
circumstance, yeah. I also-
that was interesting.
I think
sharing
like,
that. But.
Yeah, I think any sort of like pill that you're putting in your body. I mean, we even as a friend group have always talked about birth control.
Yeah.
Like everyone I think in my friend group is on the same birth control, and it's funny because when I went on it, I said to my friend, like, which one are you on? I want to be on the one you're on. And when I told my doctor that, she said, yes, absolutely. I want you to be on the one your friend is on. And I was like, okay, why? And she said, well, like any type of medication you're putting in your body, you mentally have an effect as you're putting it in your body. And she said, if you have a positive idea about other people having a positive time with that drug or with that pill, you will have, for the most part, as long as it's not like maybe not reactive with your body, but for the most part, you will have a better time on that type of birth control,
like,
which I thought was so interesting. I'm like, okay.
It's so true though. It's like the placebo effect is still in effect.
It is. And I think if you're like, oh, my best friend is on it, I want to be on it too. Like you think that's a bit of a joke, but actually it's not. It's like we're all like playing into our own like
it's no
safety
different
zone.
when we talk about like positive brand awareness. It's like I love Charlotte Tilbury makeup, so you're probably gonna like Charlotte Tilbury because I talk about it and I love it all the time too. Like
right.
The people that you're with influence you in so many ways, whether it's your purchases, like your thoughts and ideas.
I think your friends probably influence you more than anyone else in your life.
Like I would agree.
If I see someone wearing a cool sweater, I'm like, yo, girl, I love your sweater. Where'd you get it? Like that's the stuff that So yeah, no, it's interesting. But I agree. It's like, yeah, birth control is not probably gonna be great for our entire generation of millennials that are obsessed with taking it in 10 years. But it's also like, okay, we don't want to be pregnant at 22, so what's our next option? First of all, also, men, it's time for you to go on birth control.
Contraceptives.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I do think at this point it's slightly unfair that women are the ones responsible for that, but in terms of like oral contraception, obviously. But
well, it's like, did you read that whole, I mean, this is like kind of old news now, but a few years ago, there's a whole study that came out because they were basically trying to do an oral contraception.
I kind of remember this, and they were all complaining, I'm bloated.
Well, that's the thing. They're like, there was a whole list of side effects which made them stop the study because the men didn't want to be involved anymore, which was like bloating or weight gain, headaches, like depression, like all of these negative side effects that we experience. We're like, yeah, we've been there. Like, we've been doing
welcome to the club. Well, I was on the first birth control I was ever on in university. I had like major anxiety like a year into taking it, and I have never been very much an anxious person at all unless I've had 6 coffees. And I was having like actual like anxiety attacks, and I finally, thank God, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's the birth control. And I went off it, and I was like, oh my God, disappeared. Yeah. And I'm like, that you don't even realize, like, it's just crazy.
Well, we were talking about this even last weekend, the whole idea of like the medical field. And first off, want to give a huge shout out to anyone in the medical field because y'all are great people.
Y'all are the real MVPs.
So thank you for all of your hard work, and we really respect and value you. But there is something to be said for being an advocate for your own personal health. And you often, I don't want to say you often have the answer, but you live with yourself 24/7. You know your body better than anyone else. And if you think something is not right, I'm saying to go against medical advice, but to be in tune and really advocate for yourself, because there's so many stories that I've heard recently that if it wasn't for the individual really pushing for whether an extra test or a scan or going back in, that something would have gone undiagnosed. And not at the fault of the doctor, but just because everyone's busy. There's certain protocols and protocols for appointment checkups that not everything is caught if it's not brought up. So it's very interesting. Like, I think it's so valuable to be in tune with your body and
totally.
Health is wealth.
And we are in charge of it, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's why we're running a marathon next weekend.
You guys are finally going to be, actually,
we'll
probably
finally be done.
I was going to say, after we run the marathon, we'll talk about it in that episode of how it went, but then we will never talk about the half marathon again.
Yeah.
It's good news for you guys.
I'm excited to not talk about it.
I'm so excited for it, actually.
I'm excited for it.
You know what was so interesting? So last week, so normally we have like about 3 or 4 runs a week that we're supposed to do. The week prior, I completely was so busy, so hectic, and like truly did not make the time or schedule it in to do all my runs. So I missed all my runs that week, but I decided on the Sunday to go for my long run.
Right. You went with your dad, I saw.
Yeah, my dad was biking, so I was like, I was so not like in the mood for it, but I was like, I need someone to hold me accountable. It was like a long like 18K, so we ended up, he was biking as I was running, which so glad he did that because I don't think I would have done the full distance if it wasn't for him there. But it was so interesting. I was like kind of nervous because I hadn't ran in a week that I thought my stamina would like fully like clock out. But I think it was the easiest run I had ever done. I was like, maybe my body needed a break for a week to kind of like fully rebuild like muscle, and like it was like smooth sailing, and I was like, that was shocking. So
yeah, that's great.
So maybe we've been training so intensely that like it just needed a little moment.
Yeah, the run on Monday that you missed was hard.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Well, it was good.
The final practice.
Well, I thought it was over, and then she's like, just kidding, we're doing 100 sprints. So then we did like 8 100-meter sprints.
I would have loved that. That would have been my favorite one.
After running though for like already an hour, like because we did like maybe 12 laps. I don't even remember what it was.
Really?
We did a long run, and then we did the sprints, and I was like, Jesus. And then she's like, now we'll cool down. Let's do another 2 laps, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
It was good though. Like I think it makes you realize like I can do it. You know, like it's like that weird like fight or flight. You're just like, all right, I guess I'm in it.
Well, it's just crazy how your body adjusts too, because when we started this, I was never a long distance runner. I could not do more than 5K.
Yeah.
And now we're like, 10K, walk in the park. Let's do 20K. Like it's, your body just truly
it changes.
adapts, and the human body
so
is so
weird.
fascinating
I know.
and so cool, and it's just like,
well, I remember running
you,
5K. It must have been like 3 or 4 months ago now, and I was like, that was rough.
I did a guided, like one of those guided runs. One of the Nike coaches was like, okay, 2K is coming up. Focus on your, like one of those guided runs to get me through the 5K.
I know.
5K is not like,
5K
now
is 25 minutes.
Literally.
Which is like nothing.
Literally 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so fascinating. Look, I'm proud of us. I'm excited for this race.
Yeah. I'm just going to not be competitive because I could see myself pushing myself too hard and getting myself into some trouble. So I'm just going to like.
That's going to be me.
I know you're going to die. I just have a feeling you're going to do something shanksy that day, but like I have faith.
I have a theory. I never get hurt. So
I don't think you'll get hurt. I just think you're going to go faster than you normally would.
I know. I'm afraid of that as well.
Just keep it under control.
I know. Calm down, Jaclyn.
That's why I purposely chose a slower group, because then I was like, if I'm faster, I'll surprise myself. But if not, there's no pressure.
And I put myself in a faster one than I thought I would finish because I'm like, I'll just have to do it. I'll have to rise to the occasion.
You may. Although,
I don't
like,
know.
after you've been training for all that time, if that spike of adrenaline comes, like, you can totally do it. It's just...
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
Adrenaline only lasts for so long,
you're
and then
exhausted
you crash.
after it. Totally.
So it's just, you gotta manage.
I've been loving our little gummies, though. I don't know if we were talking about the gels that we were eating before, which were so good.
How many did you take on the run?
So when I did the 18K, I had about 4, because they're like 30 calories each, so every like 4 or 5K I would have a gummy. But you definitely like want some water with them, because they are like very like sticky and like leaves your mouth a little dry, but they like actually taste good. When you're out on the run, I'm like, tastes like a little candy.
Yeah.
Like, whereas the gels were literally
disgusting.
I could not eat them. They made me want to vom.
Damn. All right, well, roses and thorns.
Is that already the end of this episode?
Yeah, it flew
Sometimes
by.
we just like catching up and
well,
gabbing.
It's just you and I.
Yeah.
It's different.
Roses and thorns. So a thorn is the bee. The bee yesterday was just like a very stressful situation. The rose is that I got it out of the house, which was stunning. Another rose is, you know what? Danny, my father Danny, and I call him by his first name. I know, don't yell at me. My dad has been really on a spree of baking lately. Like, he'll come home from work. I mean, I don't live with my parents anymore, but he'll come home from work and like bake, I guess, for like my mom or just whatever. Be cute. But then they'll always like cut it in half or like save me half the loaf and like come by and drop it off. So I've been benefiting from this.
Nice.
So he just dropped off a like banana loaf, and I've just been loving that. And it's just like, it's beautiful. And then a rosebud. Rosebud is I'm really excited about the new gear we have for the podcast. We were having, if you follow me on Snapchat, one day I was like really ranting and documenting the
Losing the
horrible
plot.
time that I was having editing one of these episodes because I basically had to cut the audio like every minute and reline it up because we had a huge, like the frame rates weren't aligning with the audio. It was a huge problem. And it was like an hour and 15 long episode. So every minute I was like lining everyone's individual audio tracks up, and we had guests on that episode. So it was just a huge headache, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. But now we have new gear, and I'm very hopeful for the future, and I hope this episode sounds good. And if it doesn't, I'm quitting the podcast.
Okay.
What about you?
A thorn. What is a thorn? Oh, I got stuck behind a garbage truck this morning for literally 15 minutes, like no exaggeration. I was coming to pick up Jaclyn, and so there's a little, it's my own fault, because I was basically trying to be sneaky, and there's a little, like, where my boyfriend lives, there's like this pathway that you can cut through to basically connect onto another street, which avoids the long light. So like it's one of those, if you know, you know, like you can like swerve through and take this back alley to get to the other street. Normally that cuts off like 5 minutes because you don't have to wait for 2 lights to change to turn right.
You know, you can cut through that parking lot to get to me quicker.
What part? I did. That's what I do.
Oh, is that
every
what you do every
time.
morning?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I always find the shortcuts.
You know.
So I did this shortcut to go behind my boyfriend's building this morning to turn right. And I go, and as soon as I do it, I see a garbage truck. And it's like right smack down in the middle of the alleyway. But I was like already in like the alley. And then just as I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just back up. I don't know how long he's going to be.
Yeah.
2 cars pull up behind me.
Oh my God.
So then I'm like, oh my God.
You're trapped.
I'm trapped between 2 cars and a garbage truck in an alleyway, and I was already running like maybe 5 minutes late. Then what do? Load a couch, load a mattress. First of all, I've never seen a garbage truck load a couch into.
Yeah, isn't that
Guess
special?
What it does? They put it in, and it literally just
breaks
eats it. Like it's so wild. I was like, oh my God.
I didn't know it could pick up like large pickups like that.
It was literally wood. Like you see the wood smack. Like that's how strong these trucks are. I was blown away.
So scary.
A full mattress. They throw a full mattress. Like
wait, how does the guy
everywhere.
pick all that up by
There's
himself?
2 guys. There was 2 guys. So let me tell you, I saw them load it for about 15 minutes. And then finally, after the 15-minute mark, the 2 cars decide to pull back, like they reverse. Yeah. I'm like, thank God. Because I kind of opened my window to wave like, hey, you guys want to back up?
Yeah.
Like, I think we're stuck here. So finally, they back up. So I back up. Then the guy, as I'm finally getting out of the alley, I see the garbage guy wave. So I'm like, oh, there must now be finally done. But I'm already turned this way, so I'm going to go. I wait at the light the way I should have gone originally. I turn. They beat me to the next light. I'm
oh
like,
my God,
like,
really?
It couldn't have been more annoying. I was like, okay,
That
great.
is a thorn if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, and I'm super impatient as a human anyways, so to be in a situation where I feel like I'm running late and I can't control what's happening, I was like, I can't do this.
I'm losing it.
Yeah, it was not ideal. Okay, but roses. So
moving on.
Yeah, so a roses. Oh, I have a fun brand shoot this afternoon I'm super excited about, so that should be really good.
Can you tell me later? I haven't heard of this.
Yeah, it was on the iCal that you accidentally were a part of.
Torri
We have this problem where like I put in the Poddy Talk iCal, like my personal
So we have
like
a shared
work things.
calendar that we keep things organized for the podcast. We have guests coming in, or deliverables or deadlines. And for some reason, Tor doesn't know how to use the iCal.
It's just, it auto,
it
for some reason, defaults go to Poddy. And of course, when I'm thinking in my head, I'm just like so quick. But anyways.
I love that you're using the iCal because you used to be anti-iCal. So I mean, it is a positive thing, but now I have all of her personal to-dos on my shared calendar.
I'm like, go to bank. And she's like, question mark. I'm like, sorry, not for you. Like, anyways, another rose is, I'm going to Buffalo this weekend for Thanksgiving.
Oh, right. You told me that.
Yeah, just like the whole fam's going. We're going to go to like a football game, hockey game. Yeah, I'm super excited.
We should have done a gratefulness-themed episode.
Oh, we should have. I'm grateful.
Whatever, not grateful for anything. Bye. Moving on.
And so that's a rose. I'm super excited to spend time with my fam. And then a rosebud. Oh, I found out about this really exciting holiday-themed like campaign I'm doing. And the pitch I sent was like all about my grandmother. And they approved it, and they're like so excited about it. And I really hope I get to do it because it seems like they're down. And my grandma is like a rock star, but also just like hilarious. And I just feel like she would love to know that she's going to be the star of like something on my channel.
Cute.
So I really hope that happens. But that's a rosebud that I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
Wow, guys, this has been another great episode. This
Thanks
audio
for
is
tuning in
crisp.
to Poddy Talk, the podcast where we should talk ourselves. See you next week.
Bye. We'll see you guys. See ya.